All right, welcome. It's time for us to talk sport on global television. And my name is Anthony Momodu, the king of sport. We're ready with all the big stories making the rounds in the exciting world of sports. We'll be taking you football, boxing, and every other sport in between. I'm not alone. I have my wingman by my side, getting ready to do the job of doing the grand analysis. And today is truly very special and amazing as we're hitting DSTV 365 and you're watching us live from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Odi, how excited are you? It's like playing the World Cup finals.
I'm super excited. This is a long time coming. We've been praying and waiting and clamoring, and finally we're here, Channel 365, DSTV, and to bring out the big stories in the world of sports, ranging from boxing, football, basketball, all of it. So it's just been amazing, and I feel excited. It's just more, like you said, playing the World Cup finals.
All right, so like we're playing the World Cup finals, it's not just going to be two of us on today's show. We've got two amazing ex-internationals that will be joining us on the program. We've got Femi Ajilore, former Super Eagles midfielder. He was indeed one of those who tackled Lionel Messi during the Olympics. You'll be watching him. He'll be talking to us live on today's edition as he weighs into the rift between Finidi George and Victor Osimhen. We also have another ex-international who will also be joining us. His name, Haruna Ilerika. He's also now a coach for the Nigeria's national under-13 and under-15 team. So we're truly ready to give you the very best of sports. Let's begin from the House of Reps, where the big story tells us that the House of Representatives on Wednesday announced the donation of 100 million naira to Nigeria's 2024 Olympics and Paralympics contingent to the forthcoming games billed for Paris, France. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, talking about Benjamin Kalu, who presided over plenary in the absence of Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, disclosed this when the House hosted the Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, who was in the Green Chamber to unveil Team Nigeria's Olympics and Paralympics kit. Kalu disclosed that 100 million naira, which will come in earnings, was in honor of Ekene Adams, the lawmaker who, until his death on Tuesday, chaired the House Committee on Sport. Similarly, the Chairman House Committee on Army, Balalele Aminu, donated the sum of $2,000 to Team Nigeria. Some of the athletes who spoke during the session commended the lawmakers for the overwhelming support for the team and promised to make the country truly proud throughout this sporting event. Let's let you know that the Olympic Games starts from July 26 to August 11. That's how big it is. And we've seen Nigerian athletes always being set from January to date. From the African Games, they've been breaking records, setting records. And with this 100 million naira plus $2,000, I think they're willing to go.
Yes, I think they are willing to go, because looking at their preparation so far from January and their performance all through, and the beautiful thing that the Athletes Federation created, you have to come back home for those athletes abroad to come
for the trials.
For the trials, and then prove yourself before going. So now they've proved themselves, and now the lawmakers as well are extending the same hand of fellowship to them, giving them financial support that they need. So at this point now, going to Paris, all of these athletes, I don't think they would be having complaints now. The ball is all in their court, and they just have one job: get us medals. Just get to the podium, do Nigeria proud, and continue doing what you're doing over here in Africa, breaking records and setting them. Just go to Paris 2024 and do the same. That's what we're clamoring for, because all the support needed from the minister and then lawmakers are on the table already.
All right, on the table already. And just to let you know that 1996 Atlanta was the last time Nigeria did win hauls of medals, but this time around we're looking to conquer that record as we head to Paris 2024. The other big story is concerning the female national team. You call them the Super Falcons. Let's let you know that 2004 quarter finalist Nigeria are scheduled, talking about the Super Falcons, are scheduled to fly to the French city of Bordeaux today as the countdown begins for their first outing at the Women's Olympic Football Tournament 16 years later. In the 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons, who must negotiate an interesting group that also includes Brazil, Spain, and Japan, departed Spain aboard Air France flight and arrived in Bordeaux minutes before 11 p.m. The delegation of 18 players, 4 alternate players and officials, is scheduled to arrive in the team's hotel Mercure aboard minutes before midnight. Quarterfinalists are the 10th 2004 Olympics. The Super Falcons last featured at the Women's Olympic football tournament in China in 2008 when they lost 1-0 to the Korea Democratic People's Republic, and also they did lose a 1-0 to Germany and 1-3 to eventual silver medalist Brazil. But let's just let you know that the women's football began a demonstration of sport at the Atlanta Olympics in games in 1996. The Super Falcons made their entry in 2000 in Australia, where they lost 1-3 to China, and eventual winners Norway, and eventual silver medalist the USA. Nigeria has always played the big girls when it comes to female football, and we've always said 9-time African champions means you've conquered the African continent. It's now time for you to go out there, show that you can play with the big girls, and also win medals. How charged up do you think the Super Falcons are, especially when you look at the fact that they've got injury worries?
Yes, despite the fact they've got injury worries, but they have replacements of younger guys, younger ladies who can also fit in that role perfectly and then play. If you're looking at this squad now, this Super Falcons squad, all of these players are like playing internationally. We have the best goalkeeper who came out from Avedas, talking about Chidozie Nadozie, and again we have Osholat, we have Ifeanyi Kalu, who are doing great things for their club side. So it's time for them to perform and then represent their country. And all of these ladies are fired up because this is their first time going. Do they have the experience? Yes, they do have the experience because they are 9-time champions already. So we're expecting them with Randy Waldron, who is the coach. We're expecting to see massive results from them in Olympics 2024.
All right, expecting the very best from the 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Let's move on. Let's take you to the transfer market where big stories are making the rounds. Let's look at players up for grabs. Talking about Nigerian players, let's begin with the man called Senior in the national team. That's his nickname. We call him Senior. His English name, of course, is Kelechi Iheanacho. Let's let you know that Aston Villa have been given the green light to pursue Nigeria international Kelechi Iheanacho as injury expert Dr. Rapal Bara allays concerns that the Premier League side had over the striker's fitness. Bara, a doctor in physical therapy and sports scientist, told Villa News that Iheanacho's injury history should not raise any red flags for potential suitors despite his limited playing time recently. Let's also let you know that the 27-year-old forward who currently plies his trade in the Championship is reportedly in talks with Villa sporting director Munchi over a potential summer move. And Bara emphasized that Iheanacho's previous Premier League experience would be beneficial for the smooth transition. All right, we know that Leicester, yes, they played the Championship last season, but now they're in the Premier League. Do you think Villa is an ideal club for Iheanacho? We saw him from Man City. He moved to Leicester. Still, he didn't get a starting shirt. Do you think Villa could give him the opportunity? I
think Villa would give him the opportunity. Looking at Iheanacho's track record, even when he started with the youth side of Nigeria and then moved to Manchester City, and then injuries started playing in, and there was a time when he was in Leicester that he banked in goals on every match that he played. So does he have the experience to fit in Aston Villa? Yes, he do have the experience. So it's just the injury worries. Now, given the fact that critics have said the injuries now won't be a worry, I think he's going to be a good buy for Aston Villa because they struggled last season, and then having a player who is well experienced and strong, and then that is attack-minded, as all Nigerians are, he would fit in well in the attacking force because they lacked so much. They have good defensive line, good midfield, but the problem where they are lacking now is in the attacking force. So if they get Iheanacho into that force, I think he is going to fit in properly, given the fact that his injury worries is not so much concerning.
All right, let's move on to the next transfer business. Let's let you know that Paris Saint-Germain are making progress with the transfer of Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen following the arrival of the player's agent, talking about Roberto Calenda in Paris on Tuesday. Sports Extra can tell you that it's no longer news that Napoli are willing to part ways with their most prized asset for 130 million euros this summer, and while offers haven't come from other preferred destinations like the English Premier League, PSG is in pole position to land a Nigerian striker. However, the French giants are not willing to pay more than 100 million euros for Osimhen, but would have to add about 3 players to make the deal work. Is this the direction for Osimhen to head to?
I think
Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah,
That's where he started his career.
I think it's a good buy for Paris Saint-Germain, and then now adding 100 million and then 3 more players. I think that's good, because the 3 more players, if they were to sell them, I'm sure they should be selling them maybe around the 30 million euros, given the fact of their qualities. So at this point now, Napoli has been crystal clear about their future, and Antonio, the coach of Napoli, has vividly said that he doesn't have Victor Osimhen in his plans. So since he's not having plans, and then Paris Saint-Germain are ready to pay this amount of money, 100 million, because Arsenal said they can't afford that at this point. Arsenal like buying lots of players as if they are buying Pepe. So I think Victor Osimhen is not a caliber of player that you'll be getting at that range. So if they are going for him, I think this is a good buy for him. And again, he started his career in the French league, so I think he's going to fit in well with it, because definitely they are looking for a replacement for Kylian Mbappe. So I think he fits in that role properly.
All right, we wish Victor Osimhen the very best. Let's take you to South Africa, where Nigeria's #1 goalkeeper, you call him Nwabali, is in the news this morning. Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali has returned to training at Chippa United. Despite talks he could exit the club this summer. Nwabali rose to prominence earlier this year after impressing outing at with Nigeria at the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. Let's let you know that the former Super Eagles coach, talking about Joseph Pizarro, brought in the Chippa United star to replace Francis Ozoho, who has not been consistent playing for Nigeria. Are you disappointed that he's returning back to South Africa? We had expected that he would have moved forward to probably Europe.
Yeah, some teams probably reached out to him from Europe, but probably they didn't get a deal, or they are still hoping to see how well he's going to improve, because the Europe is actually a different ball game. The competition is high, and intensity as well, so it comes with a lot of pressure. So if he's coming now, they are probably waiting to see how good he's going to get in the coming season. Probably in the next January transfer windows, he might be shipped off to Europe, or probably a team in the EPL. We never can tell, because I'm sure with his quality and style, I'm certain that there are a lot of agents looking out for him. So him going back, am I disappointed? No, I'm not disappointed. It's just a room for him to improve on his game, and then get better and see how far he gets in the coming years. All
right, we wish Nwabali the very best as he returns back to Chippa United in South Africa. Let's move on to the next transfer hopeful. We're talking about Super Eagles hopeful. His name Chuba Akpom could be out of Ajax before the start of the 2024-2025 season, after the player confessed he was unsure of his future at the Ajax Arena. The 28-year-old has always been a subject of transfer speculations amid rumors linking the former Arsenal player with a return to England. It's always been a year since Akpom left England for the Netherlands, but the Super Eagles hopeful has been linked with a return to England. Let's look at Akpom. Yes, from Arsenal, couldn't really tie down despite the potential he had. And now 1 year in Ajax. If he couldn't get it right in Ajax, who believe in youthful football, do you think he has a future in this round-leader game?
I think we can't write him off. Probably, if we look at other great players now, just like Ademola Lookman, who struggled from Everton, Leicester, and then before he now finally found his feet in Atlanta. Akpom is probably facing the same challenge, trying to find his feet. We've seen players that even struggle and then end up going to win the Champions League with Real Madrid. Joselo went as a fan a few years ago, and then now he went back now as a player, and then he won into Real Madrid. So for Akpom, we are not going to write him off, because one, we are still looking forward to him getting better and getting called up to come play for the Super Eagles. And then maybe in the coming months, and then pre-season is around the corner, which is starting with other clubs already. So we would probably see an improvement from him, because Ajax won't believe in youthful football, like you rightly said. So that's their philosophy. So with that, I have a feeling that they are going to give him a chance to prove himself again. If that didn't happen, then I fear for him.
Some say it's a flash in the pan, because we noticed that in the 2022-2023 season, he scored great goals with as much as 28 goals in 38 matches for Middlesbrough. But fast forward the last season, he wasn't able to replicate that performance, talking about the 2023-2024 season just gone by.
Yes, he needs to like stay consistent basically, because if he doesn't stay consistent now, that's going to be a problem for him. He might just, get waved away, and if that happens, he might probably find himself in Sudan playing, and I'm sure that's not what he's hoping for. So at this point now, it just boils down to how much he wants it. Does he want to continue at this part as a football player, and then he needs to just do his homework, because you can't score 28 goals and then coming out in the next season. It shouldn't just be like what happened to Leicester after beating the whole team, winning the EPL, and then the next season you went down to relegation and then went back to the championship. Now they struggled all through, came back. So it shouldn't be the same case. Arsenal like youthful football, Ajax like youthful football. So if you don't get it well within these two teams as a youthful person, then I don't think you really have a great future in football.
All right, let's take one more sporting news before we go for a very quick break. And like we did tell you, we've got two ex-internationals and a coach waiting in the wings to join us, Talk Sport, this morning as we break and make our debut on DSTV channel 365. And let's talk some cricket before we move. Let's let you know that the Simbas of Kenya won the last T20 game of the 2024 bilateral series against Nigeria by 4 wickets on Wednesday to take the series 3-2. Nigeria's men's senior team, they call them the Yellow Greens, on the tour of Kenya, where they look on the Simbas in a 5 T20 games with 2 one-day test, as we call it, ODI matches still to come after leveling the series 2-2 with an emphatic display on Tuesday. The Yellow Greens went into the last match on Wednesday with their heads high, winning the toss and electing to bat first. Letting you know that Suleiman Rawanse and Salem Salau got things started in the crease with intensity, but later was bowled out by Kenya's Shem Ngoche in the 11th over with 25 runs on board for him. Let's look at the Yellow Greens. Quite an impressive outing in cricket. 3-2 loss in series. Just in basketball, if you lose 3-2, it shows you gave a good account of yourself.
Yes, you did. They did give a very good account of themselves, because now the cricket game in Nigeria is revolving, and then this is actually a good start, because when they went to All African Games in Ghana just January, first time they came back with a bronze medal. So now they're going back now and then putting up a good fight. This is a game 5 series, and then they won two, and then they lost one. At least it just means that when they come back, they are going to do more work and then take over, because cricket is a sport that is revolving worldwide, and I like the fact that Nigeria is involved in the revolving that is happening. And then the performances that we've been seeing from the Yellow and Greens, it shows that the future of cricket in Nigeria is in safe hands, and we are going to extend. So now we just clamor and call for more collaborations with, and then awareness should just keep going, so that a lot of persons wouldn't just adapt to just football, boxing and basketball. We should also diversify and get into other sports. So all of these angles now is what we are actually looking at, and hoping that the Ministry of Sport will also create more room for awareness. And then kudos to the Yellow and Greens for a good fight in Kenya.
Good fight in Kenya. Let's go to the foreign scene. Our first story before we go on that quick break. Let's just let you know that Mason Greenwood has landed in France ahead of the medical after Marseille reached an agreement to sign him from Manchester United for £27 million plus £3.2 million in add-ons. Fans greeted the forward with flares and chants of his name as he waved to them at the airport. Joey Barton backed his impending move. That's why many fans reacted furiously to him being linked with him. This is good news for Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, it seems Manchester United are not wanting him back, so I think it's actually a good move from Spain to Marseille to France. It's actually a good move, because one is definitely going to be a tough one. The French league is very, very competitive and strong. I see him coming back to Manchester United in the near future. I think all of this, shenanigans around him just need to lay low, die properly, and then him himself is very young and he did well in Spain, right? So hoping to see a very good performance again in Marseille. So if that happens, maybe in the next coming season, even if not Manchester United, probably another team in the EPL will be wanting him back, because he's young and he's really, really good.
All right, so that's we're going to be going for a quick break. When we return from this break, we'll be having Femi Ajilore join us in the studio as we look at the rift that occurred between Finidi George and Victor Osimhen, and also we'll be taking a look at the FCT as the national team coach of Nigeria's under 13 and under 15. Also, we'll be talking to us in the course of the program. But quickly, what's your expectation in terms of the take Femi is likely to have as regards the rift between?
You know, Femi is an international player, and again, he has definitely seen different kind of coaches because he has played in the national team and he has played overseas. So I think he's going to, you know, take the chance because he was a disciplined player no matter every challenge that he faced. So I think he's still going to maintain the fact and say Victor Osimhen was meant to be disciplined despite everything that happened, not just, you know, outbursting like that on the social media. And trust the media tends to blow things a whole lot out of proportion. So I have a feeling that Femi would say Victor Osimhen should come back and apologize to Finidi George and apologize to the entire NFF. So I have a feeling he would say that.
Does this remind you of Jadon Sancho?
Something, yes, almost something like there's a high chance that he might come back to Manchester United. That's if he's going to lower his guard down and bring his ego down and apologize to Eric Ten Hag. All
right, let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll be having Femi Ajilore join us in the studio. Likewise, we'll be having Haruna Lerika, the national team under 13 and under 15 coach, also join us in the live studios. Stay with us as we talk sports.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
Is the death?
Global television is people's television. It's for the people. They focus on the content of deliverables.
Global Television, channel 365 on your DSTV, the station to watch for your news and current affairs. Hey!
This is Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV, the station to watch for your news and current affairs. This is Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV, a station to watch for current affairs and other societal news. Keep watching live.
Watching Global TV on DSTV channel 365, where don't touch it now, just watch.
This is Global TV. Keep watching on channel 365 on DSTV station and listening to the latest updates. Yay!
This is Global Television on DSTV, channel 365. Keep watching. Yay!
So frankly speaking, it is now time for Nigeria to see that Global TV has come and has come to stay.
Just 1 year. This is a plus for Global Television.
My take on Global TV presence on DSTV, first of all, I must say, is a great fit. And in this new age, it takes technology to take over.
I believe that Global TV coming into the arena will change the context of international broadcasting in Nigeria.
But I believe that Global TV has come not just to give us anything but the truth and the valued information that we need at hand.
I think Global TV presence will make a very great difference among all other channels. Their presence now on DSTV stations is going to make a very lot of difference among others.
Really believe with the pedigree and the reputation Global TV has gathered for themselves for the last 1 year of their being in existence and being in operation, they are really going to change, have a lot of impact on the digital perspective of TV broadcasting.
New height with this new feat, you are actually going to make us proud, especially within the content that you are delivering for the Nigerian people.
So frankly speaking, it is now time for Nigeria to see that Global TV has come and has come to stay.
Just 1 year. This is a plus for Global Television.
My take on Global TV presence on DSTV, first of all, I must say, is a great fit. And in this new age, it takes technology to take over.
I believe that Global TV coming into the arena will change the context of international broadcasting in Nigeria.
But I believe that Global TV has come not just to give us anything but the truth and the valued information that we need at hand.
I think Global TV presence will make a very great difference among all other channels. Their presence now on DSTV stations is going to make a very lot of difference among others.
Really believe with the pedigree and the reputation Global TV has gathered for themselves for the last 1 year of their being in existence and being in operation, they are really going to change, have a lot of impact on the digital perspective of TV broadcasting.
New height with this new feat, you are actually going to make us proud, especially within the content that you are delivering for the Nigerian people.
Global television is people's television. It's for the people. They focus on the content of deliverables.
Watching Global Television, channel 365 on your DSTV, the station to watch for your news and current affairs. Hey!
This is Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV, the station to watch for your news and current affairs. This is Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV, a station to watch for current affairs and other societal news. Keep watching live.
Watching Global TV on DSTV channel 365. Where don't touch it now, just watch.
This is Global TV. Keep watching on channel 365 on DSTV station and listening to the latest updates. Yay!
This is Global Television on DSTV, channel 365. Keep watching. Yay!
All right, welcome back from that break. You're still watching Talk Sports on Global Television, and indeed we're still very excited being on channel 365 and across the globe, giving you all the big stories making the rounds in the exciting world of sport. And during the halftime, we did some substitution, taking out our top striker, who is a 6 feet tall, talking about Samuel Odi, and we brought in ex-international to fill the remaining 45 minutes of action. We've got Femi Ajilore, ex-Super Eagles midfielder, in the studio, and we've got the secretary of the FCT Football Association, and also a coach in the FCT whose job is to unearth the next talent for the Golden Eaglet, the Flying Eagles, and of course the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Gentlemen, so glad. I feel like an ex-international already. Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, Femi, thank you very much. Haruna, also thank you very much for making it. Femi, I know you're not feeling too good, but taking the pain to make it to the studio, I want to say thank you very much for gracing the live studios. Let's look at some interesting talking points already, still not going away, talking about the Finidi George and Victor Osimhen's rift that played out. For you as an ex-international, looking at what played out, would you say it was Victor Osimhen's fault, or you would say you put the blame on Finidi George? Because Osimhen showed proof that he did keep in touch with his coach to let him know he was injured, and that was why he wasn't coming to camp.
Well, thanks once again for having me. What happened is no more a news to every one of us. It's quite unfortunate how things unfold. But, you know, from a player's perspective, I think it's a little bit not nice to see such incidents, you know. I haven't played the game myself. And if you can agree with me, Osimhen is someone that everybody loved, you know, even across the world. And such statement that he has mentioned, why making his emotion known, I think he should have been a bit calm with it, you know, because Finidi is an icon that have served the country, irrespective of the result he managed to get during his short spell at the Super Eagles. So, but I feel Osimhen needs to really apologize, so that the whole football fraternity, can embrace him once again.
The question is, would he do this to his coach in Napoli?
I don't think he would do that. We've seen situations like that. Sometimes
Manchester
last year,
United.
No. With
Sancho.
Osimhen, even while he was in Napoli, if you have been following, there was a time during training he was angry, and So, but we didn't later hear what later transpired. But obviously, you can't do this in your club. If you do this, you're going to face the consequence. I can tell you some of the players that have done that, and they face the consequence. My own mentor, Taribo West, during his active days, if you remember the game against, I think, Inter Milan, and he was taken out of the game, he pulled off his jersey straight, and that's indirectly end his spell, in Italy then. And he has come out to even address Osimhen regarding such incident or
behavior,
attitude, So, but I feel Osimhen, he was a bit emotional about the whole situation, because we all know he has served well. Whenever he's coming to represent Nigeria, he's always coming with all that he has in him, and nobody can question that. And I think that was why he was a bit emotional about that. But notwithstanding, Finidi is a legend. You could have called him and resolved the situation.
All right, Coach, you also as a coach who's coaching national team players, under 13, under 15. For you, how did you take that issue when it happened?
Honestly, I felt very bad, because it's a very big sign of disrespect to homegrown coaches. Nobody would try that back in Europe. And when considering some little antecedent that has followed him since he came to stardom, people are beginning to conclude that there is need for a better manager, better human behavioral manager that can tutor his public issue than the way he comes out by himself to address issue. The situation looks very, very poor. And when you look at who is actually fighting, Finidi, from day one till the end of his spell at the national team, never had a second issue, just a 1 minute issue with Nigerians. So naturally, people will have sympathy with him. Secondly, being a coach of the national team, you need to give him respect. For any coach, Finidi 100% is right for whatever he must have said, for one singular reason. If you are injured and you are invited, I invited you. It's not for you to sit on the phone or call me from the comfort of your room. You have to fly down to the camp. The team doctor is the only person that can certify you injured, and I will accept. I can believe that, yes, you have a score to play with me, maybe courtesy of the fact that your mentor, I struggle with your mentor to achieve that purpose of being the coach. Secondly, I can look at it from the angle that you want to enjoy your holiday in Lagos. So anybody can fabricate an injury and look for any doctor to say you are injured. But if you have done that simple thing, it would have been better for the coach. And for you to, the last mistake he made that was very, very bad, for him to come out publicly and come and be swearing, invoking all kind of uncultured words against the coach, against whoever, even against the Nigerian populace, is very, very bad. For you to be a star, all of us are celebrating Messi today, not because of anything, simply because of his love and the way he utters words when the issue of Argentina comes to play. You need to rebrand yourself. Very soon, you will become a player and you become a coach. You have to come and monitor the activities of a player too. For me, somebody like me, we came up with the like of Kelechi Iheanacho from under 13. I was part of the coaching crew that brought him from under 13 at the national team till he become what he is today. So if that kind of player now goes and be insulting me, you understanding me, I will look at it that from where to where. I know the source. I know from your humble beginning. So it's not too good for things like that to come up. And the people I expected that should have managed the crisis well, they failed us. That is the media. I'm not
All right. Just before I throw the next question, just a quick, somebody wants to know, do you think Kelechi Iheanacho should be going to Aston Villa?
At this point,
being his coach,
yeah. You know, for the last season, they played in the championship, and he's.
But now they're in the EPL.
Yeah, now they're in the EPL, and he has stayed enough with Leicester City. Most of these players are being managed by somebody who has more experience than them, and at the later part of their career, what they look at is the financial remuneration that comes into play. To me, Kelechi is not going up again, so he has to start thinking of the future financially. So where he has financial security and opportunity to play matches consistently is the next line of action for him.
But why do you think he didn't reach his zenith? We expected more from him.
Well, one dangerous thing about the game itself is if you start from the highest, sometimes to maintain the top is always very difficult.
So that Man City move was the problem.
You might enjoy all the goodwill of the resources that comes into play then, but who is managing you? How are they able to manage you to be able to cope with the rigor of that period in quotes? If African player will have a kind of mentality that is different from an European or the South American. With the South American, even the nation manage them in form of national assets that you don't misbehave. You need to get to certain height before you start dropping. But we allow small things to blow into our head, and before you know it, we start losing control.
All right, let's get back quickly to the issue of the Super Eagles before we talk about the Euros and the Copa America. For the Super Eagles, do you think Finidi George resigned too early? Because it's almost a month now. We do not have a coach for the Super Eagles.
Yes, of course. I think he resigned too early, but you can agree with me that there were so many circumstances that warrant that, and as at that time, I think it's the best he could have done, because there has been too many negativities, against him, and of course, it's quite unfortunate that sometimes back home here we don't appreciate what we have. We have lots of good icons that have represented the country that have the capacity, to be our coach. But the challenges is we are not supporting them as we should. Even if you are the best coach, there are times you lose games. That should not be the end. All you need at that time is the support, the trust and the belief of your people. And if they can give you that and you come back, then things can turn around. We have seen that with so many coaches in Europe. Look at some of these European coaches that we are seeing. Some of them are once their icon who has represented, and they are doing greatly well in their respective countries.
Do you think NFF set Finidi George to fail?
No. You know why I said no?
Or he took the job too early? Or he
was somebody like me who...
Or was it supposed to be Emmanuel Amunike that deserved to be the coach?
No. There's one thing I want to tell you. There's never a perfect coach at any point in time. The result is what is perfect. Finidi experience at the top, relatively low, but he had an opportunity. The opportunity he had was being a backroom staff. I've been an assistant coach with the team for at least almost 2 years. That would have helped him to garner a lot of experiences. Now he was given the job. We have one issue. There's always the differences. There's only that differences between the foreign coach and the group coach. The difference is there is the will with that, the power for you to succeed. What backing is somebody giving you? You understand me? If you need to fizzle out because of his relative inexperience as weathering the storm of football, if he had been coaching in the league over years and he has worked with some
but he works with Enyimba.
That is for a very short period of time. Very, very short period of time. What is good for somebody like Finidi would have been a long-time project with the national team. The kind of job he took at that particular point in time requires the services of somebody who has been on the thorough job with tough skin. If you look at what happened, people forgot that Pasero kept us in this problem. It's not Finidi's problem.
How did
Barcelona played 2 games with 2 lowly rated countries in terms of football rating. What was the result? Against Lesotho, against Zimbabwe, that Rwanda went to their backyard to defeat them. And people were pouring the whole blame on Finidi as if he was the one that played the whole 4 games. The games he played, ordinarily, if I want to assess it technically, the 2 games he played, the game itself technically, they were better games than the 2 games we played with Drew in Uyo and Rwanda. So, but he allowed the pressure of Nigerians, which is very natural, and on every sphere of field you occupy, as far as you occupy Nigerian post, he allowed it to weigh him down, and it wouldn't have been a success again because he does not have that kind of thick skin to weather that kind of stuff.
All right, a very sad comment. Let's go to Euro 2024 and Copa America at the same time. Time not our friend. For you, how would you describe the Euros? Some say we shouldn't look at the fact that England lost because England wasn't good enough, but rather we should celebrate Spain for being the new Invisibles. How will you describe the Euro 2024 and in comparison with what happened in Copa America, where there was so much drama in terms of Uruguay fighting Colombian fans and all that?
For me, both fantastic tournaments. Of course, there will always be this difference between South American and European football. Yeah. South American are a little bit aggressive like Africans, Yeah. So, but European, you can see from the beginning to the end, the setup, the structure, everything was perfect. And when you look at the countries featured in the Euro, they all did well. Spain, I think they deserve it. England did so well, but one thing I like about the England team is the way they integrate most of their players. If you check most of those players that help them, the likes of Jude, Saka and the likes, they started from the under-17. And this is one thing we have been lacking in Africa. When we have good players from the underage, we fail to integrate them. And this is what they have done, and we can see the result. They were unfortunate not to win, but all the same, I think Spain deserves.
All right, well, time not our friend. I hope both of you will join us next time. But just a quick one in terms of under 13, under 15. What are the potentials? Quickly, coach. We just have 2 minutes to wrap it
the
up.
national team presently, the emphasis from the federation is to make sure, and even the FIFA working in conjunction. Guavon has been talking very tough, and I think we have the team, the youth team, is enjoying relative support now from the federation and even from FIFA. So it is obvious that there's no calendar, there's no FIFA calendar for their competition, but effort is being geared towards making sure that that particular team 13, 14, 15, and 16 is given the needed attention to make sure that they can be producing players, because now under 17 is yearly. If you don't make that area very interesting, how do you now be getting players that we played every year? Before it used to be 2 years, but now it's just a year. That is why Qatar is hosting the next 5 years of under 17 World Cup consecutively.
All right, so that's how much time is allowing us to do on today's edition. I want to say a big thank you to 2 gentlemen joining us in the studio, talking about the ex-international Femi Ajilore and also the FCT Football Association Secretary in the person of Haruna Ilereka joining us. He's also a coach of the national under 13, 14, 15 and 16, like you can tell already. We'll go for a quick break and we'll be wrapping up the program when we return. Stay with us.
Frankly speaking, it is now time for Nigeria to see that Global TV has come and has come to stay.
Just 1 year. This is a plus for global television
My take on Global's TV presence on DSTV, first of all, I must say is a great feat. And in this new age, it takes technology to take over.
I believe that Global TV coming into the arena will change the context of international broadcasting in Nigeria.
But I believe that Global TV has come not just to give us anything but the truth and the valued information that we need at time.
All right, welcome back from the break. This is where we draw the curtains for today's edition of the program Talk Sports. I want to say a big thank you to the two guests, ex-international Femi Ajilore and the FCT Football Association Secretary Haruna Ilerika joining us on today's edition. All right, Samuel, nice debut on the stage finally.
Yes.
For you, which is the main talking point?
You know, I like the angle where Femi Ajilore took the angle of Victor Osimhen and Finidi George, and as well as the under 13 and FCT Secretary for Football Association in Abuja. So the angles at which they take it from is very, very key, and the fact that we are hoping to see under 13 and under 16 games coming up soon. So it's exciting.
All right, so that's how we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition of the program Talk Sport. I want to say a big thank you to all the persons involved in our production on today's edition. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same channel. My name is Anthony Omodu, the King Sports.